Episode 6.
The Oath of the Unhuan. The Oath of the Unhuan.
The warning had been spoken, yet certainty remained distant. Among the gathered Pehuans, resolve began to surface. Not loud, not triumphant, but deliberate. The breach in their protection was no longer a question of if, but why. Eyes turned toward the elders, waiting for clarity long withheld.
This evening, at the Lake of Ornasirum, we must gather, especially those bound to the time construct. The tear in our cloak threatens our existence. Only together can we mend it.
Your wisdom, your strength, your connection to the elements, all will be required.
The call was not unfamiliar, but something within had changed. What was once a ritual now carried urgency. They had gathered before, they had listened before, but never like this.
As resolve took shape, so did doubt. A question long buried beneath tradition and silence rose from the crowd. Soft at first, then unmistakable. Why now? What force had torn through the protection that had endured for generations?
The mountains had stood witness to generations, to vows made, to warnings ignored, and yet they remained unchanged. It was those beneath them who were beginning to shift.
The breach within our cloak stems from the reawakening of a legend, a name rooted deep in our ancestry. One many have never been taught. The shadow of Tarsneam looms over us once more.
Some names are spoken to be remembered. Others are spoken only when they can no longer be avoided. This was not a name carried in stories. It was carried in silence.
The story of Tarsneam had been allowed to fade, not because it was false, but because it was too devastating to preserve. Passed over by elders who feared its weight, it now resurfaced when avoidance was no longer possible. And among the Pehuan stood those who felt its return more sharply than others.
I have heard of this legend. How can we stand against such a force? The stories speak of destruction beyond comprehension. Are we treading the path to face what comes next?
Enough! Silence!
Authority does not always rise. Sometimes it stills everything around it. Not through force, but through certainty.
The fear you clutch, it is not born of Pehuan's spirit. It mirrors the frailties of humans. Does it not? Have you discovered your elemental gift?
I have not yet made my pilgrimage to Ornasirum.
Your journey is your own. The Ornasirum will reveal your gift when you are ready to face it. But remember, your gift wanes with each moment lost to hesitation.
Time does not wait for readiness. It reveals, and in revealing, it demands.
With elders' words echoing in their minds, the Pehuans began to disperse. Some carried resolve, others fear. All carried questions. Yet one presence lingered, small, silent, and drawn not to voices, but to a stone tablet.
They arrived as one, but they would not leave unchanged. Something had shifted within them.
Unhuan.
The word Shayakina spoke belonged to a lost language, one never taught, never shared. The word was Unhuan, a name reserved for those born between worlds. In that single utterance, a secret long guarded was laid bare. Shayakina was not merely a child of the Pehuans. She was a bridge, and her existence would soon reshape everything.